Welcome to session 14, Sales Forecast and Predictability. Last week in the session 13, we covered about sales performance. This program is being brought to you to create effective and efficient sales teams and systems that win. This is being brought to you by METL Global Perspectives, www.metl.in. This is the second last session of this series of 15 sessions, and you can get all of them on the YouTube channel. Forecasting. Forecasting in sales is a very crucial activity. This involves predicting the future sales of the company based on the past sales performance and expected behavior of the market in the future. This step identifies the growth that the company is trying to achieve. Companies do it every year, and some even forecast for scenarios over decades to be prepared for unforeseen situations. This side is called scenario planning. Based on the forecast, additional facilities, new product categories, and new market entries are planned. Depending on the value of the processing of the inventory, depending on the perishability of the product, forecast becomes a very critical activity. Understand that forecasting is an art and a science. So while there are predictable algorithms which can be used for this, but the way to grab the market share, to expand the market, to have new products designed, to have new packaging, these all influence the forecast in a big way. So understand that this activity is a science and an art. So therefore approach it like that. Complexity in forecasting. Forecasting is not about sitting on a spreadsheet and adding 10% growth to everything. It is about planning to meet the future expectations and gaining market share and market size. It considers business strategy, competitive scenario, economic situation, and customer segment analysis. Consider an organization that is into electronic gadgets and has multiple product categories. Several of new products are being introduced and the 3-year-old ones being phased out. However, they need to keep adequate spares for the repair of these old electronic gadgets also, as they would be in use for some more years. The forecast of the sales of the new models, the spares for the old ones, needs to be carried out accordingly. Many of such things in forecasting adds to the complexity and the challenge. Remember that we are just talking of the forecast at the planning level now. When you are trying to execute on a forecast, that by itself is very challenging. How do you ensure that what you have planned for happens? Poor forecasting consequence. Poor forecasting leads to lost sales opportunities, dissatisfied customers, and give the competitors a chance to enter the market. At the same time, over-aggressive sales forecast can lead to new facilities being built, but demand does not sustain. Both of such instances can create a loss for the organization. Forecasting has to be done at a granular level and also at the strategic level. With both done, the gap emerges, and that gap needs to be filled with innovative approaches, new product, new market, new SKU, new channel, new segment, new promotions, or increased sales force. The strategic decisions can be about setting up new factories or facilities, better incentive structures, acquisition to fill up a gap in the portfolio. 7 essentials of forecasting. Getting the forecast right requires 7 essential elements to be taken care of. Element 1, demand, supply, and spikes. Element 2, manufacturing. Element 3, contracting. Element 4, clients. Element 5, growth. Element 6, category, product, SKU, channel, mix. Element 7, say no to not profitable deals. Element 1, demand, supply, and spikes. There is a steady state of demand and supply that organizations can cater to. Based on this, there is an inventory that is maintained across warehouses. At times, there are demand, supply, and spikes, and that can lead to lost sales or improper distribution of inventory. While some of them are predictable, many of these are unpredictable. The unpredictable ones can impact the company positively or negatively. For instance, a social worker stating that the product is bad for health and putting that on the broadcast channels can severely disrupt the demand. A sign up with a retail chain can increase demand multifold. Element 2, manufacturing. Manufacturing of goods can be done in house or outsourced. However, in case the production process is time consuming, it can lead to mismatch between production plan and the supply to the market. Production requires entire value chain to work efficiently. Raw materials, processing, finished goods, packaging. Say a shutdown in a packaging plant can disrupt the entire production system. In case it is a continuous process facility, stoppage at any point of the value chain will create huge crisis. In case there is a jump in quantity is forecasted with confidence, new production facilities might be required to be created or implemented. Element 3, contracting. Contracting can be long term or short term in nature. A long term contract provides sufficient time to plan, but a short term contract can create significant production scheduling or goods supply issues. A long term contract, while beneficial, can also be less profitable. A short term contract can be more profitable but can disrupt the production schedules. The right mix between the two help in meeting the sales forecast across the various numbers, whether it be revenue, whether it be profitability, whether it be the monthly dispatch plans. Every bit of it in the sales forecast has to be met. That is why it's very important to have these long term and the short term and be able to accommodate both of them in a dynamic manner without much trouble in the scheduling process. Element 4, clients, existing and new. Addition of clients are essential to drive growth. A forecast needs to factor in the client types and the details so that it is realistic. Unpredictable numbers like 2% of the population should go for our offering and therefore we should plan to scale up accordingly must be avoided. I have seen many sales teams talking on these lines, and these mean nothing. These are just good for uh, projecting and they are never fulfilled. So, a good forecast should have absolute numbers in place, should have SEC, A, B, C, D, E categorization in place, should have tried out which are the customer profiles which are buying, the ones who are not buying, why are they not buying. They should have all these details with them when they are going for the forecast. Any such brush stroke number like 2% of the population, 4% of so and so is absolutely hogwash. It doesn't work this way. A new client segment can be catered with modifying the existing product offering. So whenever you are looking at clients, you are looking at your product portfolio existing, you are looking at your client segments available, and then you're seeing that what is coming to you, which one is not coming to you. And then planning what to forecast and how to go about it. Element 5, growth. The growth objective set by corporate has to be factored into the process. This growth must be managed and provided for. Accordingly, all the direct and indirect activities are to be carried out. Growth is a corporate imperative and top-down forecast provides for the same. When you are looking at growth, it is important to focus on non-customers to drive the growth as well. So there was a Harvard article which identified these 6 aspects when it comes to non-customers. Economic, this means people who lack access to cash or credit. Functional, the product does not help the people achieve what they want to achieve. Educational, people don't know how to use the product or even what it can do. Access, people can't buy the product because it's not readily available to them. Social, the product doesn't conform to religious or social norms. And emotional, the product triggers negative emotions. So these are 6 of the elements to be kept in mind when you're trying to convert non-customers into customers. However, if you can do that, this gives rise to a new segment and there's a huge potential for growth in that. Element 6, product, category, channel mix. Growth is good as long as it is done profitably. While growth drives revenue, cost tends to increase as well. Proper managing of the category, SKUs, products, and channel mix helps in achieving the growth. Else, it becomes haphazard and leads to wastage and unplanned surplus. Every new customer segment might require a new channel, and it takes time to develop the same. One can just straight away give some huge discounts and get the growth needed when it comes to sales revenues. But if that growth is not profitable and it's difficult to run the operations because the cash flow would be very less, such growth is not of any use to the company. Whatever is done has to be of quality and has to sustain the organization and its viability over time. So keep this in mind whenever you are looking at any kind of growth strategies. Element 7, saying no to non profitable deals. The need to achieve growth at all costs and the intense pressure to do the same gives rise to pressure in the sales force, and at times they take on deals that are not profitable for the organization. This gives rise to challenging situations as fulfilling such deals becomes a problem for the company. While forecasts are being made, it is important to sign on deals that the organization can deliver. The sales team, therefore, has to develop a very robust pipeline so that they do not fall into the temptation of taking on non profitable clients just to push the inventory that is accumulating or to meet the growth and the bonuses that are attached with those numbers if they can achieve. So it's very important to have every deal being profitable, being manageable, and generating surplus for the organization. So work out around this and do not get into the pressure of growth, which is absolutely profitless. Predictability in forecasting. While forecasts are made for a few years period, it is important to assess it from time to time for the accuracy. These adjustments make the forecast predictable. Various market forces can change the forecast slightly or significantly, some of which includes changing customer requirements to more affluent. As more money comes into the economy and people are having more money, their choices change. And this needs to be provided for. Aggressive competitor moves, changing government regulations, introduction of new laws by the government, the new rules, the new standards of testing, all these can change the forecast. Raw materials availability or non-availability. As the minerals and raw material which is mined runs dry, this becomes a big factor. Production uptime, is the plant working 24 by 7 and is it producing effectively, or there are breakdowns which are happening, and global macro dynamics that might upset any of these. The upcoming supply chain challenges which happen due to some disturbances or conflicts can create a huge impact on the organization's forecast. So predictability in forecast is important so that these forecasts are regularly looked at and they are just not cast in stone. Evolve your sales with me a bit every week. How do you forecast your sales? How do you plan for the 7 elements? How predictable is your sales forecast, sales funnel? In case of queries, message me at saugata@metl.in. Reach me over WhatsApp at 9966027808. Next week, we will have the last session in this program, that is the session 15, which will be on ethics in sales. Till then, enjoying your sales and build a very robust sales organization.